Hi again then guys, and welcome to episode 7 of Heavy Hitters, the review series for the SUVs and trucks of Gran Turismo 6. And in this episode we're featuring my personal favourite car of this series, and it is of course the Dodge Ram. Now the Ram is one of the heavier SUV/pickup models at 1.8 tonnes even after the full weight loss package. It's actually 1,777 kilos. However, it's an all-wheel drive truck and it's got a supercharged 5.7 litre Hemi V8 producing 823 horsepower and a massive 806 pound-feet of torque, which means that overall, despite being extremely heavy, it still has a power-to-weight ratio of 463 horsepower per tonne, which, although not as high as some of the other trucks, is still good enough for a track car. What about performance though? What does it have to offer? Well, it can launch off the line among the quickest of any vehicle in the game. It will launch off of the line with the drag tune in 1.3 seconds. And it has a top speed, obviously dependent on tuning, of anywhere up to 220 miles per hour, or around 220 miles per hour, which is pretty decent for a big, heavy truck. The great thing about the Ram, though, is its versatility. Many trucks and SUVs have very singular personalities. Regardless of what you do to them, they remain pretty much that same essential vehicle underneath, and the way they perform doesn't vary that much. With the Dodge Ram, that's completely different. You can make the Dodge Ram completely change its whole way of driving based on how you set up the car. Now, in this current video that I'm doing here, I'm actually using a rear-wheel drive bias setup for the car with around 90% of the power going to the rear. That makes it an excellent drift car and actually a lot quicker around corners than with the standard four-wheel drive. At the same time though, if you do choose to keep it up, say around the 40-60 or 50-50 region, it will launch off the line in, as I said, 1.3 seconds. In fact, it will get off of the line quicker than even many supercars can. So you can completely change the characteristics of the truck based on the settings. Now the PP, incidentally, when fully tuned, is a surprisingly reasonable 564, which isn't perhaps as high as you might expect for such a powerful truck, and I personally think that that's mainly due to the weight. If the weight was lower, the PP would obviously be significantly higher. However, the fact that it is at 564 PP is actually pretty good, because it means that for that PP it's actually really competitive, not only against trucks but also against a wide variety of opponents. And the great thing about the Ram, as you'll have seen from this video, is it doesn't really matter what you do. You can smash it into walls, you can go off the track, and somehow it just keeps on winning. Now obviously there's a limit to that. You can't take on Red Bulls with it, of course, but you will be surprised how many vehicles the Dodge Ram can leave in the dust around even a track such as Sierra, with plenty of corners which we think would work against the truck, but they really don't. The handling, especially with the rear bias torque split, is superb, and it's actually really good for drifting around corners at high speed, not just for showmanship. Overall, I would say that the Dodge Ram is possibly the best all-round truck in the game. Not necessarily the fastest, of course, but in my opinion, the best. And the main reason for that is because it's so versatile. It can be a sports car, it can be a drift car, it can be a truck, it can be a dragster, it can be whatever you need from it. And another great thing about the Ram is the price. It's 38,000 credits, which is ridiculously cheap for such a powerful vehicle. That kind of value for money would rival even the Supra, and that's one of the best value for money vehicles in the game, period. But this truck is very close to that in terms of value for money, and around the track, this Dodge Ram would actually give the Supra a great run for its money. Now that may sound hard to believe, and for people who've never driven the Ram at high speed, I can understand why. But if you ever do get the chance to buy the Ram, fully tune it, and I would recommend putting most of the torque to the rear wheels. If you do, I guarantee it will put a smile on your face. It's incredibly fun to drive, amazing through the corners, and far more competitive than you'd ever think it was capable of being. Plus, of course, being a truck, it's an excellent rally machine as well, having not just the all-wheel drive, but a huge amount of power. In fact, power that exceeds most of the actual rally models that are on the game. So overall, the Ram is fantastic value for money. It's extremely versatile and shockingly quick for such a heavy vehicle. So if you haven't tried the Ram, I would strongly recommend that you do so. It is an absolute hoot to drive and can outrun vehicles which it has no right to be capable of beating. So that's it for this episode. I'll see you guys next time, and as always, thanks for watching.